Did the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air cause a school shooting lockdown? Was Will Smith a real-life bad boy? Why were there two Aunt Vivs on the show? Maybe the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air wasn't as fresh and clean as we remember. Here is what really went down on this legendary show as we explore the top 10 ways the Fresh Prince was darker than you remember. Before we jump in, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell so you're notified about our new videos. Turns out, Regina George wasn't the original Mean Girl.
What?
It was actually the cast of The Fresh Prince, who kept a Mean Girl-style burn book hidden in a drawer in the set's kitchen island. Actors and crew regularly wrote gossip about fellow cast members like, James is getting on my nerves, Daphne looks different this season, and why is Alfonso a better dancer than Will? Alright, well, maybe the last one I made up, but, you get the point. Actor Karen Parsons, who played Hillary Banks, admits that she kept the diary after the show was canceled. Ugh, the good old 1990s. A world before tweets and hashtags and the gram. It's like the only way to complain about people back then was writing Dear Diary in a journal. If I ever hop in a DeLorean and go back in time, remind me to buy some pins. Casual fans of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air might think that the show is based on Will Smith's real life, but real OG fans watching this video know that that's not the case.
What I do have is the truth. Oh, shut up, Will!
Will's character on the show was based on the life of Benny Medina. Benny Medina is a well-known music business producer and talent manager and record executive. At the age of 9, his mother died of cancer and his father left after numerous stints in prison for using and dealing drugs. Because of his drug-dealing father, a young Benny Medina grew up in and out of foster homes and eventually lived with his aunt in the rough and tumble streets of Watts, just south of LA. The Fresh Prince of Watts just didn't have the same ring to it. But here's where it gets really interesting. During his teen years, Benny Medina befriended a wealthy white teenager living in Beverly Hills, and that teenager allowed Benny to stay in a refurbished garage behind his family's property. At the same time, Benny attended Beverly Hills High School, and that wealthy environment inspired Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Turns out Skee-Lo wasn't the only one in the 90s who wished to be a little bit taller. Jada Pinkett-Smith missed out on a role of playing Will Smith's girlfriend on the show because she wasn't tall enough. While Jada might not have stood tall enough for Will on screen, apparently she was tall enough for him off screen. Jada got the last laugh when she married Will in 1997, and they lived happily ever after, except for the rumors of infidelity. But those stories are for another ranker list. Any true Fresh Prince of Bel-Air fan will tell you that the most emotional moment of the series is when Will is let down by his dad and confronts Uncle Phil about it in the episode Papa's Got a Brand New Excuse. Rumors were that Will ad-libbed the ending, gut-wrenching monologue after channeling his real-life experience of being abandoned by his own father. However, the truth is that Will and his dad had a great relationship. Since Will couldn't use a neuralizer to erase his amazing childhood, he had to find another way to channel the feeling of wanting approval from a parent. He found a way to do that from none other than the man standing across from him in this scene, James Avery, aka Uncle Phil. During an interview, Will admitted that throughout his time on the show, he was constantly looking for James's approval when it came to Will's acting chops. Apparently, Will channeled that desire for approval into the famous confrontation scene with Uncle Phil, channeling the real-life energy into James Avery. It worked, as almost the entire live studio audience was in tears by the time the scene was over. Anyone else need to grab a tissue after hearing that sob story? I might need a second. The series was supposed to end after the season 4 finale, where Will goes back to Philadelphia and decides to stay there and live with his mother. Fresh Prince fans weren't having that at all. They said,
No way, forget it.
When NBC canceled the sitcom after 4 seasons, they were hit with thousands of angry fan letters.
Forming an angry mob, eh? Who we going after?
Remember, everyone loved to use pins back then. Apparently, the piles and piles and piles of letters worked, as NBC listened and granted their fans' wish, renewing the show for 2 more seasons. Hell hath no fury like a Fresh Prince fan scorned. A school in Pennsylvania went into full lockdown in 2013 when a receptionist at an optometrist office called a student to remind him about an appointment. She was directed to his voicemail, which happened to be the Fresh Prince's theme song. Instead of chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool, the receptionist called the police. She mistook the lyrics, shooting some b-ball outside the school, as shooting some people outside the school. The school was put on lockdown until officers arrested the kid in question. Sounds like the only one making trouble in this neighborhood was the receptionist who called the cops. Guess Will was right.
Parents just don't understand.
It was a different kind of men in black that were coming for Will in the beginning of his career. After living beyond his means in the early days of his rap career, Will Smith owed Uncle Sam $2.8 million. The IRS seized his belongings and his income. Tired of seeing Will mope around, his girlfriend at the time convinced him to go hang out on the set of the Arsenio Hall show in hopes of finding an opportunity that might boost his career. Will agreed, and eventually he met Benny Medina. You remember him, right? We literally just talked about him number 9 on our list, unless the MIBs erased your mind. The rest is history, as they say, as Benny took Will to a party at Quincy Jones's house, where Will performed an impromptu 10-minute audition for the part of the Fresh Prince in front of a room full of actors, artists, celebrities, and politicians. Lawyers at the party drew up a contract for the show on the spot, and boom, boom, shake the room, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was born. For the first 3 years, he paid 70% of his salary from the Fresh Prince to the IRS. Who knew Uncle Phil would end up saving Will from Uncle Sam? Things weren't all that jazzy when Smith and Jeff Towns, aka DJ Jazzy Jeff, were sued by Jive Records. The duo were signed to Jive and released their first album, Rock the House, in '86. They received a Grammy Award in 1989 for their song Parents Just Don't Understand, and in 1991 they released the hit song Summertime, which earned them another Grammy, and together they sold over 5.5 million records. You would think Jive would be jumping and jiving all the way to the bank, but instead Jive Records became concerned when Jazzy Jeff and Smith shifted their focus onto their acting careers with the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Shortly after they released their third album, Smith began to pursue acting full-time, and the group split. They were eventually sued by their record label, who alleged that the duo was still under contract to create more albums. Bad news, we didn't get more albums. Good news, DJ Jazzy Jeff and Will Smith remain close friends to this day. Prior to the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Smith's only acting credit was in an ABC after-school special. To say that he was untrained would be an understatement, and that lack of training was apparent in season 1. Smith said of the early days on the show, "I would memorize the entire script and then I'd be lipping everyone else's lines while they were talking. When I watch those episodes, it's disgusting. My performances were horrible." No wonder James Avery, a classically trained actor, may have judged Will as a novice actor.
What's next?
And finally, as we move on to the number 1 spot, we ask a very important question. Will the real Aunt Viv please stand up? At our number 1 spot, for the darkest side of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, was the beef between the original Aunt Viv, Janet Hubert, and the Fresh Prince himself. Janet clearly wasn't getting jiggy with it and ended up departing the show after she slammed the A-lister for not helping his castmates negotiate for higher pay. She left the cast in 1993 and was replaced with Daphne Reed. It was only recently on the Fresh Prince reunion in 2020 that these two actors sat down and hashed out the truth and end their decades-long feud. Hubert revealed that she was in an abusive marriage. She was also pregnant during season 3, and she claims Smith painted her as being difficult to work with, which caused a lot of damage to her career. Smith admits that he was not sensitive to Hubert's situation at the time, and he acknowledged that only after having his own family and maturing did he realize what she must have been up against. I'm glad these two finally worked it out. Sad that it only took 27 years. And there you have it. Do you have any other dark secrets from the Fresh Prince that you'd want to bring to light? Let us know in the comment section below. And as always, like, share, and subscribe. And be sure to check back here to find out what else needs to be ranked.